For this laruan ni Obi-Wan video, we're going to take a look at a Kitbash version of Action Force Valaverse Atlas. So, Series 5 Tower of Power figure by Action Force Valaverse. So, basically, this is how the action figure looks. Okay. So, things that somehow I've noticed about this action figure. It looks big, but at the same time, it really does not look so imposing as I wish it would be. Okay. So before I discover the body part that I'm going to show off later with the Kitbash version, some of the other things that I also noticed about this action figure. Okay, so one is, take a look at the eyes. So somehow it's looking this way, upwards. Okay, but the other copy that I'm going to show, the Kitbash version, it's looking straight up. So this must be the wounded one. Let's see. Okay, so with regards to having no sidearm, yeah, if you're going to run a shotgun as a weapons platform, you need to really carry a sidearm with this, because you really can't carry as much ammo as you wish on your person. Shotgun shells are really big and bulky and heavy. Okay, so that's it. Unlike 5.56, 7.62, your rifle rounds or your 9mm 45 or 380, you could carry as much as you could tolerate. But with shotgun rounds, because of the size of the rounds, yep. So this figure does not have a side arm, so just in case he needs to reload, he's screwed. Okay, so the other thing that I also noticed excuse me, about the weapons platform, it does not have a charging handle for the bolt. So I thought it was somewhere around here, but yeah, no. So no charging bolt. And the standard single stack magazine, yeah, so where's the magazine spring on this? The rounds are fully compressed, the magazine is fully loaded. So I was thinking of doing this, because you still have space here for the compressed magazine, but you have to you're going to encounter issues on this portion if you're going to practice slice and dice, which is my practice in this channel. Okay, so take a look at the the form factor of the magazine. Okay, so that's different. So this is going to be the feeder lips. Yeah, so you can't do a mod this way. It's going to be very hard to really remodel this part, because if you take a look at the magwell, it is also oriented towards the shape of that. Okay, so hard thing to do anyway, but I found a solution which I'm also going to share in this video. Okay, so let's try to fix things up first. Okay, so let's stand this guy, because we're going to bring in the 2.0 of Atlas. Okay, so immediately you're going to notice the big change in the stature of the action figure. This time it's going to be a tower of power of an action figure. So worthy of the Atlas call sign. Okay. So this part over here, I also watched other reviews about this action figure from other content creators, and somehow majority of the channels that I watched, all eyes would really turn on this portion, this part of the action figure, the boot. Okay, so as you could notice, height difference right now, really different. And with the increase of the length of the boots, it did not affect the length of the arms. This is more anatomically right. With this, the arms are a little bit long because the legs is short. Okay, so easy simple solution. So these boots, okay, left and right, that those pair comes from Marvel Legends Nuke. Okay, so it's going to be that old action figure with the American flag on its face. Yeah. So the figure gained a few more centimeters in height. Yeah. Okay, so let's take these items out, but there's going to be a tricky mod for fitting those pair of boots to that leg, which I'm going to discuss later on. But first, let's do the easy part. Okay, first, a quick 360 view of the action figure build. Okay, there you go. So you guys could spot the changes that I did, or possibly just take note of the differences between the standard action figure. Okay, so just tweak it a little bit, and you could have a Atlas figure that feels like a 1:6 scale figure. Yeah, with regards to the details, not the height, okay? Because 1:6 scale figure, that's a 12-inch figure. What I mean is, you have a 1:12 scale action figure with the details of a 1:6 scale. Yeah. Okay. As in this channel, I used to build 1:6 scale custom action figures. Okay, there you go. Okay, now let's spot the parts that I used for this action figure build. The helmet comes from G.I. Joe Classified Series Footloose. The gauntlet, this other gauntlet, comes from a Marvel Legends action figure. I could not remember the exact figure. I know it's a build-a-figure piece. It's the character with a tank for the lower half, the under half. Yeah, and it had a green body. Okay, so those gauntlets belong to that action figure. That handset, that's Action Force Valaverse, and I'm going to explain why one hand is only gloved versus yeah, if some would want a pair for, well, also that works too. But with regards to, I'm going to explain the philosophy of use later on. Okay, so this part is G.I. Joe classified series. Okay, so not very specific to an action figure. So the diver has this, and other action figures has this. Okay, so with that holster. Okay, so that holster is also G.I. Joe classified series. So with the firearm or the sidearm. Okay, Colt 1911 45 ACP. There you go. Okay. We're not using the knife sheath from this action figure. That piece, that knife sheath. But we're using a G.I. Joe classified series knife sheath. Okay, so that is Marvel that also comes from Marvel Legends Nuke. This comes from the arm bracers, which we just cut off the straps. That comes from Marvel Legends Punisher. This holder, magazine holder, that is a pistol holster from G.I. Joe classified series. So anyway, I took a look at the internal of the pistol holster, and it was just a hollow piece. It did not have any groove or what. So yep, it works as a magazine holder for the third magazine that this action figure comes with, because you're given a choice of whether displaying your action figure with the drum mag or the stick magazine. Yeah, so as you could now compare, so the vest now holds on to 3 magazines plus extra 12 gauge rounds that he could later load onto the magazine once he becomes dry of ammo. And he has those pouches to store additional shotgun shells. Okay, well, so let's take a look at the weapons platform. Okay, and compare it with, where's the other one? Somewhere here. Oh, okay, so let's take out the magazine and put on the drum magazine, so it's going to look like equals. Okay, standard belongs to this figure, updated belongs to that figure. Inclusion of sling, which this does not have. Okay, so where did we put the elastic cordage? Okay, so you guys could see where I placed that. Okay, so it's on this holes 1 and 2. Okay, we just made a knot, cut off the excess, and just burn the ends, so it's going to have that ball, and when you pull, here you go, nice and neat. Okay, inclusion of a carry handle this time, just from house junk. And the plastic piece that I saw around that resembles a charging handle, so not very specific actually. So you could find yours, choose yours. Okay, so just drill a hole on this portion. Okay, there's already a provided hole over there for your guidance. But with regards to mounting that charging handle onto that hole, make sure that you take out first the drum magazine or the stick magazine. Okay, so with the hole, make sure that, well, anyway, when you poke it in or place it in before applying glue, you're going to see whether it's going to protrude inside the magazine well. Okay, because it really does not take so much time to make that hole with an X-Acto knife. Okay, so just apply a little bit of glue on the end of the charging handle of your choice and just glue it on. Of course, you would need a tool of some sort for that process. So yeah, forceps is a must. Okay, so we increased the barrel length of this shotgun compared to the shorty. Okay, so that's just a barrel sleeve on top of the extended barrel. Anyway, that's how the real thing works. But that is from G.I. Joe Classified Series Stalker, this accessory. So we just cut off this piece. Anyway, there's going to be a hole once this one is already out. The muzzle device, the muzzle brake, or the flash hider. So just glue this piece on and make sure that you run your X-Acto knife through that hole to increase the hole of this stalker accessory or suppressor, because it's meant for a pistol, not a 12 gauge. So you have to really make that hole big, so it's going to look realistic. Okay, so one hand glove versus the other hand ungloved. Okay, so shotguns are really notorious for really this end. Even if you have a handguard of any sort, it's still going to be very hot. So especially on the 5th or the 6th round. Whew. So yeah, that's the thing that I learned from training with shotguns. Yeah, you have to have one hand gloved, especially if it's going to be a pump action shotgun. If you don't have that, if you don't have any barrel cover and you're ungloved, majority of the time you're going to get burned by your barrel. Okay, so just a thing that I learned from running a shotgun platform. Okay, so yeah, brought it to this action figure. How did I mount that compared to this? Of course, very easy mod. So actually this is glued to the vest. Okay, so there you go. Okay, let's shine the light. There you go. So that's glued to the vest. Okay, once again, so you guys could see how I did that. Okay, so it's mounted on the holder, mounted to that side accessory. So I just cut off the straps and just experimented with regards to the distance or the length of the end of the vest, this section. So it's glued to this section and the lip of the holder too. So that section, so it's going to adhere very well. It's not going to detach easily. And why did I attach that? Yeah, drum magazines on a thigh mount, damn, that's going to be very heavy. So yeah, it's this thing is going to wear your leg out. Okay, especially if you're running and gunning. Okay, so you need to attach it to your vest in some sort or way. Okay, now with that attachment, with how it is glued right now, so when you play with your action figure, so the playability, okay, you see. So I hope you guys could catch it. There is no interference between parts rubbing against each other, and it's not going to detach. Okay, plus you have a very clean leg, not much accessories on it. Well, you have micro accessories, but the accessories that I also chose are also streamlined. Okay, with regards to mounting the Marvel Legends nuke boots to the Atlas legs. Okay, so let's take the Atlas legs. So just think that this is going to be the leg of this action figure. Okay, so once you have that boot detached, you applied heat, dunk it in hot water or used a hair dryer, and you already separated the pieces. Now the Atlas leg is going to have a ring around this section. Okay, so if you immediately mount the Marvel Legends nuke boots onto the Atlas leg peg, you're going to have a 1 centimeter space in between because of that ring. Okay, so with an X-Acto knife, you just have to cut off that ring. Okay, so it's going to be that easy. Just make sure that you're going to use a fresh blade, not a dull one that you have been using for quite some time. It's not going to work very well. It has to be a fresh blade. So if you like, once again, if you like this review, like, comments, and subscribe, and share this video. So it's been a day, so really tired. So see you on the next action figure or custom action figure review.